Hey everyone, it's Sidney, and today I want to talk about insecurity and feeling insecure, being insecure. One of the most annoying things is when someone says be confident and confidence is attractive and confidence is helpful and just be confident. It's like, how do you even begin to do that? Especially if you're coming from a place where you feel very insecure. Insecurities suck, and for me, when I was in my mid-teen years, it was especially bad. It was the peak of my own personal insecurities. I would take the train every morning to school, and I hated it because at the train stop, there are glass doors that separate you from the platform where the train would arrive, and I could see my face in the reflection, and I hated having to stand there waiting for the train with my reflection just in front of me the whole time because I couldn't bear to look at myself. I would always have hair covering my face because I didn't want anyone to see me. Like, I still have so much hair covering my face, but anyway. And there aren't a lot of pictures of me from that time because I wasn't getting in front of a camera if I didn't have to, I couldn't bear having someone see me. In fact, there were often times where I'd be at home and I'd just be in my room and I'd be just crying because I hated the way I looked. I thought it was so ugly. I used to actually rake my fingernails down my face like I was trying to take it off. And luckily for me, my skin doesn't scar for whatever reason. But yeah, it wasn't pretty at the time. That sense of just being completely and utterly worthless and unlovable in every single way. So it finally hit a point where I was completely sick of feeling this way, and I want to talk a little bit about how to take insecurity and transform it into confidence, and of course telling this from my point of view, the things that I did, the things that worked for me, because I don't want to share something that's just theory and not something I've tried personally. So here's how it went down. The first thing you got to do when you want to move out of insecurity and become more confident is to decide to do that. For me, it just hit a point where I was getting so bad that it was impossible to live with myself. Can you imagine living with such a miserable person who can't even look at themselves? It sucks. And one day I was just so tired of it, I was like, you know what? Screw this. I don't want to be insecure anymore. It sucks. It's literally sucking the life out of me. I'm tired of it. Enough is enough. I refuse to be insecure anymore. And it is not optional. It just has to be. I will not be insecure anymore. That's it. And I didn't know how to get out of being insecure, but I knew that was it. That was the end. It wasn't worth it. It doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help yourself. I was tired of it. So the first thing was that decision that says, I refuse to be insecure anymore. Because insecurity is a game in your head. It's just created by you. There's nothing going on outside of you that's actually making you insecure, that's forcing you to be insecure. It's those voices in your head that say mean, nasty things to you. It's not about the mean, nasty things that other people can say to you. The mean, nasty things that other people say to you, at least in my experience, they only hurt because they match the things that you're telling yourself. And that's what really hurts. It's the things that you tell yourself, and that's what really gives you that insecurity. It's the constant, persistent thoughts and the persistent way that you speak to yourself that causes the insecurity to grow and to be able to exist in the first place. It has to be internal. So once I decided that enough was enough, that I was just way too insecure and that it was just a complete bummer and I couldn't stand it, I would almost religiously, with a zealous fervor, I would go after all these different thoughts that I was having. And that's the second thing, is to identify the thoughts that you're having, to notice when they're happening. So when you're in the middle of something and suddenly that voice clicks off and starts saying all those mean things to you. That's when you have to sort of spot it and be like, aha, there you are, right? Because you have to spot when you're doing these things. That's your pattern. And that's what I did. I began spotting when these would show up and just looking at how completely ridiculous they were. Because I'd already decided that the insecurity that I had was dumb and that I was going to get rid of it, suddenly all those thoughts were dumb and worth getting rid of, because I didn't need them anymore. And I told myself I didn't need them anymore. It's that decision that is not optional that made it possible for me to spot those thoughts and then remove them. And this is how you go into removing them. When you spot those thoughts, what you want to do is transform them into positive thoughts and give yourself reasons why you are, things that you can actually believe, even if it's something small, like, you have a very friendly smile. You say to yourself, you have a beautiful smile, and oh, thank you so much. Self-praise doesn't have to be a bad thing. In fact, it often isn't. I mean, come on. I feel like the world needs more self-praise than it needs self-deprecation. And the last thing I want to say is that these negative thoughts that you have, that you then flip into positive thoughts, the word negative in and of itself is something I want to address here, because that thought is part of you right now, if you're someone who has those thoughts, right? The negative thoughts are where you're at right now and what you're experiencing right now. And they aren't negative. They aren't negative in the sense that they aren't bad. When we sort of have this part of ourselves that we label as bad, then when that thought comes up, you want to suppress it. When that negative thought comes in and you start to berate yourself, that thought starts to berate you, then it's immediately going to be, oh no, this is a bad thing, I need to get rid of it, and you start to sort of suppress it or anything. No, it's okay to have that experience. It's where you are right now, if you have that thought. So what you want to do instead is to realize that this thought is allowing you to see a part of yourself that feels neglected, or that feels like it's not enough, and then you can build up the confidence in that area. Because if you can see that negative thought as being there, not to make you feel bad, but to show you where you can help yourself, then it's not a negative thought anymore. And when they show up, you can be like, thank you for showing up in my brain so that we can work on this together and be a happier, more confident person. And that is all I have to say for today. If you liked this video, please remember to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, tell me what you liked and what you didn't like, what you want to see more or less of, so that I know what kinds of videos to make in the future. And of course, subscribe button is going away, video is ending. Bye!